They're flagging this taxi down now. I assume it's because he doesn't have any lights on. Now he has turned on his indicator light. Oh, I think he just stalled the engine as well. He did manage to turn his lights on, but the problem is now he can't start the engine. It's just clicking, but it's not. Oh, there you go. Finally it got started. Really not sure why he was driving without his lights though. And that rider was flagged down now because unfortunately she doesn't have her headlight on. It's actually a lot more dangerous for motorcycles because it's already really hard for other drivers to see you. And then if you don't have your lights on, you don't have the protection of a cage to keep you safe, right? That's why I worry about those riders on EDSA. They're in the bus lane in the early morning and late at night. They don't even turn their lights on. Scary. The L300 also doesn't have his headlights on. Quite a few people coming by tonight without headlights. Again, the headlights do work, but they just weren't turned on for whatever reason. There's actually a lot of people in the back of the van as well. And right now they're acting on a complaint about buses that are loading and unloading outside of PTEX. And one of the buses is actually an EDSA carousel bus. And I'm a huge fan of the EDSA carousel busway system. I think it's pretty much one of the best commuter projects we've seen in quite a long time. But at the same time, I do agree they have to be strict on the loading, unloading. Otherwise, all the mayhem that existed before will come back again. Now, I can understand if you're a commuter and you're trying to go home, this is going to be kind of a disturbance for you. And I'll tell you the truth, in some or many situations, I've seen commuters getting angry at the enforcers. But really, the bus drivers know what the rules are, and they're professional license holders, and this is their job day in, day out. So they know the risk when they do this, and the penalty is expensive. The first apprehension for pick up and drop off for passengers outside of the bus terminal is 5,000 pesos, or actually I was told it's already been increased to 6,000 pesos. Now I've seen quite a few comments lately that said something along the lines of, if you don't want people to do something, put an enforcer there to stop them. The thing is, they don't have enough manpower to put an enforcer on every inch of the road. These kind of operations, they're not waiting for someone to make a mistake. They're going around various areas where there's complaints, where there's congestion, and then they're seeing these things happen in real time. And then they're issuing tickets to deter drivers from doing it again and again. And in fact, I keep seeing people going to the center there and then try and load onto the buses. Well, obviously, the buses aren't stopping now because they see the enforcer here. But it shouldn't be like that you only obey if there's an enforcer standing in front of you. And unfortunately, this is actually a common thing I see around this area. The sidewalk and even the first lane of the road got converted to a cafeteria type thing, an eatery. Sayang, right? People would say, widen the roads, widen the roads. And then a lot of the time, this is the reality. You just lose it to the wrong purpose. I've seen various commuters approach the enforcers and give different reasons for why they should be allowed to load here instead of inside the terminal. Some reasons are better than others. And one of the things I've seen a number of times is people were told to go in the terminal and they said, I'll just try over there. And the thing is, there's more enforcers spread across the road. And if a bus driver does decide to stop and pick you up, he's the one that's going to suffer with a very expensive penalty ticket, not you. So I understand that you don't want to go to the terminal, you want to save some time, save some walking, but the bus driver is going to suffer if he makes the mistake of picking you up. There was a gentleman that approached the enforcer and asked how much the penalty is. He must be associated with the buses because he said they'd all received a memo saying not to load and unload here and to use PTEX and strictly do not load unload. Specifically, this area was named not to do it. And he said everybody knows, but they only follow if there's an operation. If they think there's no operation, they don't follow. And like I mentioned earlier, you cannot have enforcers guarding every inch of Metro Manila 24/7. This mindset of only obeying when there's an enforcer, it really needs to change. For the good of everybody, right? This is one of the buses that were having a hard time stopping. The enforcers were literally chasing after it. They just used their mobile command center now to block him off. One of the things that caught their attention is on one side it says Tagaytay City, Lawton, but on the other side it says something different. and it's so heavily loaded that there's even people sitting right next to the driver, aside from all those that are standing up inside, obviously. It seems like the bus driver wasn't aware that they were trying to apprehend him. Generally, they always give someone the benefit of the doubt, but still they want to check the papers, especially because it says Tagaytay City, Lawton, but then the other sign says Alabang. So they want to verify the exact situation, that's why they're checking the franchise papers. The registration document shown by the driver has the correct plate number, but the franchise document he showed has a different plate number. They're going to escort the bus to PTEX and then they're going to impound it. I'm just not sure yet whether it's going to be a physical impounding or a technical impounding of the plates. Some of the passengers are getting very angry that they've had to disembark at PTEX. We've had this gentleman shouting at them, "You catch every bus!" Well, they're just trying to do their job. I do agree that it's inconvenient for the passengers, but the one you should get angry at is the bus, because they're holding the paperwork that doesn't match.